Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Thomas.
I'm Laura Painter. Thanks so much for joining us on the ABC10 app. Right now, a budget battle is brewing in Natomas. Teachers have authorized a strike as district leaders warn some student programs could be at risk.
Yeah, ABC10's Nazi Javid is live in the studio to explain exactly what all this means, Nazi.
The school board meeting is about to get underway at the district office with open session is at 6:30. District leaders say financial pressures have been forcing some tough decisions, but educators and parents say classrooms shouldn't be the ones paying the price.
If going out on strike is what it takes, then that's what we will do.
A strike now looms in Natomas Unified as district leaders warn of a budget crunch. The superintendent says rising costs and state funding uncertainty are forcing reductions to protect long-term stability.
If they cut the budget for the schools, it's not good for the kids. They need money to run the school programs for the kids.
But after a year of failed negotiations, educators with the Natomas Teachers Association have taken a historic vote to authorize a strike.
97% of our members voted in this strike vote and 98% voted yes to authorize a strike vote.
State data shows the average public school teacher salary in California for the 2023-24 year was just over $101,000. In Natomas, that number is lower.
I believe it's around $90,000 a year.
And he says it doesn't stack up against nearby districts.
We're in the bottom half, not just for pay, but also for health benefit contributions as well. But for our families that do have to take healthcare here in Natomas, right now, some are paying $1,500 or more out of pocket each month.
He argues the district has flexibility.
Natomas Unified has $45 million in reserves. That is a very healthy reserve.
Superintendent Dr. Robin Castillo declined an interview but issued a statement saying, quote, when proposals require spending that exceeds what the district can responsibly sustain, the result is program loss and disruption to students.
I would say the first thing that needs to be cut is the amount of district office staff that they have.
District leaders say they've already reduced admin costs and warn further cuts could impact programs.
And this is something that we don't take lightly at all. So we know it will be a big impact, and we hope that an agreement can be reached.
A sentiment echoed by student families.
They can all come to an agreement, so everybody happy.
Fact-finding is scheduled for February 20th, and under state law, educators could strike 48 hours after a report is released if no agreement is reached. Back to you.
Thank you. Meanwhile, teachers at Twin Rivers Unified School District also voted to authorize a strike. Union leaders say contract talks have stalled for nearly a year. Educators are pushing for smaller class sizes, more student support, competitive pay, and fully paid family health coverage. If it happens, it would be the first strike in district history. At this point, no strike date has been set.
Well, listen to this. Schools in the San Francisco Unified School District remain closed for the third straight day after 6,000 public school teachers went on strike. Teachers are demanding better pay, health benefits, and more resources for students with special needs. This is indeed San Francisco's first teacher strike in nearly 50 years.
We're now a week and a half into the search for Nancy Guthrie, the mom of Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie. Investigators are hoping new video released of a masked man at Nancy Guthrie's door will yield more clues as to her whereabouts.
But here's the deal. A man detained and questioned in the case in Arizona last night has since been released and is not facing charges at this time. ABC's Alex Stone has more.
FBI agents today conducting what they say is an extensive search along multiple roads in the Catalina foothills area of Tucson as they investigate the suspected abduction of Nancy Guthrie, a delivery driver detained by the Pima County Sheriff's Department and the FBI overnight for questioning in connection with Guthrie's disappearance, is out of custody and free. The man, who says his name is Carlos, tells ABC affiliate KNXV he was pulled over about an hour south of Tucson and was detained for 6 hours.
The detectives got here. It was the FBI agent in Santa Cruz County, and they told me I was being detained for kidnapping. And I asked them, like, well, kidnapping of who? And they told me this lady, I don't know her name. And
Nancy Guthrie?
Yeah, that's her.
He says as a delivery driver, he may have delivered packages to Guthrie's neighborhood. Law enforcement sources tell ABC News he had been on the radar of law enforcement before the public release of the doorbell video. The sources say the FBI identified him through his cell phone usage and traffic data. He was questioned for several hours and was released without any charges. Carlos's mother-in-law says she owns the home they searched.
They only said that they gave a tip that she was in my house, and I told them, you can go in and search my house. There's nobody there.
Today, the case remains focused on this video recovered from Nancy Guthrie's front doorbell camera. Investigators hoping somebody recognizes this person's walk, his eyes, mouth, or what he's wearing, enough to offer a tip. Now, investigators have been back at the home of Nancy's daughter, Annie, going to neighbors, asking questions, but Nancy Guthrie's whereabouts remain unknown. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
All right, Alex, thank you. Well, turning now to a live look over our nation's capital in Washington, D.C. Today, the U.S. House voted against tariffs on Canada. It's a rare, if largely symbolic, rebuke of the White House's agenda as Republicans joined Democrats over the objections of Republican leadership. The resolution would end the national emergency President Trump declared to impose the tariffs. Northern California Republican Kevin Kiley was the only Republican in California to vote in favor of the resolution. The president posted on social media, quote, "Any Republican in the House or the Senate that votes against tariffs will seriously suffer the consequences come election time, and that includes primaries," end quote.
The House also voted to pass the Trump-backed SAVE Act. The sweeping election reform bill would require states to obtain proof of citizenship in person, like a passport or birth certificate, in order to register them to vote in a federal election. The bill also requires voters to show photo ID in order to cast a ballot in person. It also requires voters who vote by mail to submit a copy of a qualifying ID when requesting and casting an absentee ballot. The bill heads to the Senate, where it will need 60 votes to pass, but that does appear unlikely. And out of fireworks on Capitol Hill today as Attorney General Pam Bundy clashed with lawmakers over the Department of Justice and their handling of the Epstein files. Bundy was defiant in defending the administration. Democrats and at least one Republican slammed Bundy for redacting names of powerful men, but not redacting names and personal information of some Epstein victims.
You and your organization made this massive failure and released the victims' names.
Did you ask Merrick Garland that the last 4 years?
You don't have to go back to Biden. Let's go back to Obama. Let's go back to George Bush.
How many perpetrators are you even investigating?
First, you showed it. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No,
Your
you're going to answer the
theatrics are
question the way I
ridiculous.
asked it.
Some Republicans in today's hearing commended her work highlighting lower crime rates. She also touted issues unrelated to the DOJ, like the stock market.
Coming up, a Sacramento country music festival is canceled again. Why organizers say they're postponing.
Plus, scammers are looking at opportunity after a major phone outage last month, how you can stay safe.
First weather system on the move, tracking the last parts of this storm system as another one heads in for the weekend.
Sacramento's annual country music festival, Golden Sky, will not be returning this year.
Yeah, that announcement was made just hours ago on the festival's social media pages.
Organizers say they decided to postpone it to ensure the festival lives up to fans' expectations, saying, quote, "We've made the decision to take one additional year to ensure that Golden Sky returns at the right time and at the level our fans, artists, and partners expect." The festival was also canceled last year. It was just back in 2024 that they added a third day to meet overwhelming demand after a record-breaking attendance of 60,000 people.
Disappointing, not the news we wanted to hear, but I think the reality is festivals are not an easy business venture. There's a lot of them and a finite amount of artists, and I think we've seen through Aftershock and Golden Sky that Danny Wimmer Presents gets the best talent and the biggest acts, and I think they want to make sure they can do the show in the best way possible, and 2027 seems to be the best path for that.
Golden Sky ended the post by saying they hope to return again in 2027. For now, let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods, because one of the other big stories that we're tracking today is the rain and snow just as we get ready for the Valentine's Day weekend.
Right, and it's a long weekend too for a lot of folks. A President's Day, it's going to be a doozy, I think.
It certainly is, yeah. We're going to get into the first part of the weekend with dry weather. So I love how the timeline has shifted on this, kind of backing off on the aggressive nature of bringing that in too early over the weekend. We still have some showers out there as we're tracking the first weather system to impact us after a long dry stretch that we've had pretty much since the beginning of January. We had a weak little weather system ripple on through at the end of January, but that's been about it. So largely in this dry stretch here. Main impacts that we're tracking. First and foremost, rain is going to be ending for tonight, as well as snow. It's going to lower to about 5,000 feet, but not a lot of accumulation. The next thing on the list, tracking the weekend storm. It's colder, it's wetter, it's going to be a much bigger impact storm. Rain as of noontime today was about 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch, but keep in mind we had another wave move through during the afternoon, so those totals are going to go up by the time we wrap things up for tonight. Placerville, Sutter Creek, into the foothills, we were closer to about 1/2 an inch of rain. Now snow, the ski resorts report early this morning. We won't get another reading until early tomorrow morning. So as of 7 a.m., about 5 to 10 inches of snow, although Mammoth Mountain reported as of 7 a.m. 14 inches of snow. Not bad to get things started for today. Highs reaching the 60s down low for the valley, 50s for the foothills, and 30s for the Sierra. Right now, hazy view outside. We're going to deal with some fog building for tonight into early tomorrow morning. Still have rain in Marysville at 55 degrees. We're at 55 with cloudy conditions in Sacramento, Stockton, Modesto, also cloudy in the 50s. Tahoe right now, some breaks in the cloud cover. We're at 37. It's going to be a chilly night tonight for the Tahoe Basin. Rain will come and go for the valley and then clear out by tomorrow morning. That leaves us with areas of fog and temperature starting off in the 40s. Again, this is just storm system number 1. It's going to wrap its way all the way down the coastline there, finally move into Southern California later on this week. Our weather timeline looks like this. Thursday and Friday, a break from the showers, morning fog. Saturday, a mostly cloudy but dry Valentine's Day. Rain really not starting until later in the day on Sunday with snow as well. Widespread rain and Sierra snow next week. So we see these showers come to an end for tonight, and then we await this bigger storm brewing in the Pacific. It's going to connect to some really cold air. Once that moves through, we're going to see those snow levels down to about 3,000 feet by early Wednesday morning. It all gets going during the day on Sunday, and it really is going to take us through much of next week. So we started off Sunday through President's Day with about 3/4 of an inch of rain to close to over an inch of rain, 3 to 4 feet of Sierra snow. But again, the bigger impact coming a little bit later. Tuesday through Wednesday, over an inch of valley rain and 4 to 6 feet of Sierra snow, again, with those low snow levels coming in by the time we get into our week next week. So our extended forecast will play out with a couple of days here to dry out, and then we're right back at it with a weather impact alert by Sunday.
Thank goodness for those days to dry out, though, because that is a much longer stretch just on the horizon.
Yes.
And it's going to be very impactful, too, it seems like, right, Monica, all across the region.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Monica, thank you. Well, coming up, it's something you don't see every day. Stolen beehives found by investigators in Yolo County. The charges the suspect now faces.
Coming up in tonight's Dollars and Cents, scammers are trying to trick you into giving up your username and password and pretending to be well-known companies to do it. What you need to know about malicious texts claiming to be from major phone companies.
Well, you don't see this every day. A Sacramento man is facing several felony charges for stealing and hiding beehives in Yolo County. I want you to take a look. Deputies were notified of beehive boxes that were abandoned in a remote area of the county. Investigators found the hives, discovering that identifying markings were concealed. They say the 47-year-old suspect returned to continue modifying the hives. He was arrested on multiple felony charges, and the investigation remains ongoing. Those stolen hives, worth tens of thousands of dollars, have been returned to the owner.
In tonight's Dollars and Cents, if you're expecting a $20 refund from Verizon after last month's massive outage, watch out for scammers. They're trying to steal your personal information. I talk with a former FBI agent and cybersecurity expert about what to look out for and how to protect yourself.
The Verizon outage was a glitch.
Verizon suffered a 10-hour outage to cell phone service January 14th, stopping some users from making calls or sending texts for much of the day.
We lost phones, including myself and my family, and it caused chaos.
After the outage was resolved, Verizon told customers they could get $20 off their next bill as an apology for the issue.
And it was published on X, it was being shared around, it was made very broadly available through social media. And so people were waiting for the $20. And what Verizon did, which from a cybersecurity perspective I don't quite agree with, is they sent texts to people.
Former FBI agent, cybersecurity expert, and author Eric O'Neill tells me scammers are now trying to cash in.
What cyber criminals immediately did is piggyback off of what Verizon was doing, sent their own fake malicious links out to anyone that they had on a list of phone numbers.
O'Neill says watch out for text-based scams called smishing attacks. He says cyber criminals have really leaned into these kind of scams because people tend to be more trusting of texts, which can also include direct messages from social media.
Well, how can we protect ourselves?
Well, what I always say is think like a spy hunter. So what you need to do is never click an unsolicited link, even if you're expecting, and that's why this was such a nefarious scam.
O'Neill warns to watch out for texts claiming to be from Verizon and AT&T and T-Mobile as well.
Will those companies be asking them this sort of credit card information logging in? Is that also a red flag if they're being asked this information?
Great question, Laura. No, a legitimate company is not going to ask you for your username and password. They're not going to ask you for your credit card number. They're certainly not going to ask you for your social security number and birth date to verify you are who you are.
O'Neill says there's a lot of information tied to your cell phone account. Scammers can use your social security number to hijack your phone and use your number to attack other people. O'Neill strongly urges everyone to turn on two-factor authentication to make it harder for cybercriminals to trick you into giving up your username and password.
Call their customer support, tell them what happened, tell them to freeze your account and reset your password right away. Because otherwise, that gives the cyber attacker time to change your password, control your account, and then it makes it a lot harder for you to get back in.
Here's how to legitimately get your refund from Verizon. The company says customers can redeem the credit by logging into the My Verizon app to accept. The credit will cover multiple days of service for average customers, while business customers will be contacted directly about their credits. Remember, your money questions have answers. Email me at lpainter@abc10.com and stream all of our dollars and cents coverage right now on the free ABC10 app.
But for now, coming up, the rescue after a sea cow got stuck in a place you might not expect.
Coming up, new tonight on the news at 6. Heads up, love is in the air, but so are scams. The FBI says romance scams spike this time of year, especially those scams targeting our seniors. Coming up at 6, the red flags you need to watch out for and what you can do to protect yourself or your family and friends and someone you love. That's next at 6.
A manatee is recovering after a scary moment in Florida. Take a look at this. First responders used a crane to get the marine mammal out of a storm drain on Monday. Officials say the adult manatee was active and didn't show signs of cold stress once it was rescued. Wildlife authorities work with federal, state, and local partners to figure out the best way to get that manatee out. We're told hundreds of them come to Blue Spring State Park to get warm during cold weather. I know all is well that ends well, but I'm sure it was thinking, how in the world did I end up in a storm drain?
Exactly. I would love to see those images just one more time if we can get them back up on the screen to really see that amazing rescue. Chris, we know those animals are fairly large, and when they get caught in these situations, there's that scene. Look at that dramatic rescue. When they get caught in these situations, it can be quite dangerous. So well done to all of our first responders for helping that animal out. What did you call it earlier? A sea cow?
A sea cow who took a wrong turn.
Oh, what a sweet and gentle creature.
Yeah.
All's well that ends well, right? We do love that kind of a story. Great job, everyone out there. Thanks so much for joining us. Remember, you can watch us anytime, any day on your schedule. Just download the free ABC10 Plus TV streaming app to your TV. We'll see you next time.